Long ago, a large family moved to the land of Egypt. They were the children of Israel. They came because there was a great hunger in their own land. They found safety. They found food. For many years, they lived in peace. They grew into a great nation of people. They filled the land and were strong. But time passed. A new king, a new Pharaoh, came to power. This Pharaoh did not remember Joseph. He only saw how many Israelites there were. He became afraid. He worried they might join with Egypt's enemies and fight. So the new Pharaoh made the people of Israel into slaves. He put harsh masters over them. He forced them to build great cities, bricks made from mud, bricks made from straw. Their lives became bitter with hard labor under the hot sun, day after day, with no rest. This made Pharaoh even more cruel. He commanded every baby boy born to the Israelites should be thrown into the Nile. It was a time of great sadness and suffering. The people of Israel groaned because of their slavery. Their hearts were heavy with pain and sorrow. They cried out. Their cries for help rose up to heaven, and God heard them. He had not forgotten the promise he made to their fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob. He saw the suffering of his people in Egypt. He saw their tears. He heard their prayers. God knew their pain deeply. He decided it was time to act, to rescue them and bring them out of Egypt, to a new land, a good land full of promise. God's plan for rescue would begin with one person. That person was a man named Moses. Moses was an Israelite. He had a very unusual story. When he was a baby, his mother hid him to save him from Pharaoh's order. She placed him in a basket and set him afloat on the river. Pharaoh's daughter found the baby and raised him as her son in the royal palace. Moses grew up knowing the ways of the Egyptians, and he also knew he was one of the people of Israel. God had a special plan for Moses, a plan to use him to set his people free from bondage. Well, that is how it began. Moses grew up in the Pharaoh's palace, but his heart was with his own people. One day he saw an Egyptian beating one of his fellow Israelites. In anger, Moses killed the Egyptian and buried him in the sand. When he realized it was known, he became afraid. He fled from Egypt to Midian. There, he became a shepherd, caring for the flocks of a man named Jethro. For 40 years, Moses lived this quiet life. He married and had a family. He might have thought his old life in Egypt was over forever. But God had not forgotten him or his plan. On Horeb, the mountain of God, he saw a bush on fire that did not burn up. Moses walked closer. A voice called from the bush, "Moses! Moses!" And he answered, "Here I am." The voice told him to take off his sandals, for he was on holy ground. It was the voice of God. God said he had seen his people suffering and had come down to rescue them and bring them to a good and spacious land. Then God gave Moses his mission. "So now, go. I am sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." Moses was filled with fear and doubt. Who am I that I should go? He did not feel like a leader, just a simple shepherd who had run away. God was patient. "I will be with you." He told Moses his holy name. "I am who I am." This is what you are to say. "I am has sent me to you." Moses still hesitated, afraid the people would not believe him and that he was not a good speaker. God understood. He gave special signs and sent a helper, his brother Aaron, who would speak for Moses. Together, they would go to Pharaoh and deliver God's message. So, that's how Moses was called. With God's promise to be with them, Moses and Aaron returned to Egypt, told the leaders everything, performed the signs, and the people believed. They said, "Let my people go." Pharaoh, proud and unmoved, replied, "Who is the Lord?" He refused, and made their work even harder, withholding straw yet demanding the same bricks. This was the beginning of a great contest. God sent 10 terrible plagues, signs to show all Egypt that the Lord is the one true God. The Nile turned to blood. Fish died and the river stank. Pharaoh's heart remained hard. Then frogs covered the land, swarms of gnats, and then thick clouds of flies. A disease killed Egypt's livestock, but not Israel's. Painful boils broke out on people and animals. A fierce hailstorm mixed with fire destroyed the fields. Then locusts came and ate whatever the hail had left. A thick darkness covered Egypt for 3 days, so heavy no one could see or move. Through it all, Pharaoh's heart was stubborn. He would promise to let them go, then change his mind when each plague stopped. So the struggle went on. After 9 devastating plagues, Pharaoh's heart was still as hard as rock. He refused to let Israel go. So God told Moses about one final, most terrible plague. God said that at midnight he would pass through Egypt, and the firstborn son would die, from Pharaoh's palace to the humblest home. It was a dreadful judgment, but God provided a way of escape. Each family was to take a perfect lamb, kill it at twilight, and paint its blood on their doorframes. The blood would be a sign. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. The angel of death would not enter houses marked with blood. The people inside would be safe. That night they obeyed, roasting the lamb, eating bitter herbs and bread without yeast. The herbs reminded them of bitter slavery. The flat bread showed they would leave in haste, cloaks on, sandals on, staff in hand. In the quiet darkness, they waited. At midnight a loud cry echoed through Egypt. The firstborn in every Egyptian house died, Pharaoh's son to the prisoner's son. There was not a house without grief. In sorrow and terror, Pharaoh surrendered. He called Moses and Aaron by night. Up, leave my people. Go, worship the Lord. He urged them to leave quickly. That very night, the long years of slavery ended, and Israel walked out free. Well, so, that is how freedom began for them. The people left in a rush, a huge crowd, men, women, children, taking livestock, unleavened dough, silver, and gold given by Egyptians. God did not lead them by the shortest road, but toward the Red Sea. He went before them, by day a pillar of cloud, by night a pillar of fire. Pharaoh's heart hardened again. What have we done? He gathered his army and all his chariots, his 600 best, and pursued Israel. He caught them by the Red Sea. The people saw the army and were terrified, trapped, sea in front, army behind. Were there no graves in Egypt?
Do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still.
God told Moses, "Raise your staff, divide the water." Moses obeyed. All night, a strong east wind pushed the sea back. Dry ground appeared, with walls of water on right and left.
Israel walked through on dry ground. The Egyptians charged after, horses and chariots.
Once Israel was safely across, God told Moses to stretch out his hand again. The sea walls collapsed, covering the entire Egyptian army. Not one survived. The people saw God's great power and put their trust in him.
After the amazing rescue, Miriam led the women in a song with tambourines and dancing, celebrating their freedom. But the desert was harsh. After 3 days, they found only bitter water. What are we to drink? God showed Moses a piece of wood. He threw it in, and the water became sweet. Later their food ran out. They complained it was better in Egypt. We had pots of meat and all the food we wanted. They forgot God's power. God promised to provide. He would rain down bread from heaven. In the morning, thin flakes covered the ground. What is it? Moses said. It is the bread the Lord has given you. Manna. Every morning for 40 years, God provided manna. In the evenings, quail settled in their camp. Again God gave water. Moses struck a rock and water gushed out. Throughout the journey, God taught them to depend on him completely. He was their guide, their provider, their protector. The pillar of cloud by day, pillar of fire by night. These signs never left them. The desert tested their faith and taught them what it meant to be God's chosen people. They had to trust his daily provision and follow his guidance, even when the path was difficult and unclear. 3 months after leaving Egypt, Israel arrived at Mount Sinai. Here, God would make a covenant with his people. God said he carried them as if on eagle's wings and promised his covenant. They prepared for 3 days, a thick cloud, thunder, lightning, a very loud trumpet, smoke, fire, and the ground trembled. The people watched in awe and fear. From the fire and smoke, God spoke 10 great rules for living, the 10 commandments, guiding how to love God and others. Have no other gods. Do not make idols. Do not misuse his name. Keep the Sabbath holy. honor your father and mother, do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal, do not tell lies about others, do not covet. These laws were a gift from God, the foundation for a just, caring community, showing the world what it looks like to be God's people. Moses wrote them on 2 stone tablets to be kept forever. While Moses was on the mountain receiving the 10 Commandments, God gave another set of instructions. He wanted to live among his people. His presence at the center of their camp, God gave a detailed plan for a special sacred tent, the tabernacle, a portable sanctuary. Have them make a sanctuary for me, and I will dwell among them. The people brought gold, silver, bronze, fine linen, blue, purple, scarlet yarn, and animal skins. The tabernacle had an outer courtyard with a large altar for sacrifices. Inside were 2 rooms, the holy place, the lampstand, the table for special bread, the incense altar, and beyond the woven curtain, the most holy place, with the Ark of the Covenant and its mercy seat with cherubim, where God's presence would dwell. Only the high priest could enter, 1 day a year. Moses told the people all God commanded. They responded with great generosity, and skilled craftsmen built everything. When it was finished, a cloud covered the tent, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. God was now living in their midst, and his presence would guide them to the promised land.